Hi, I'm Danielle. This is my craft room. Come on in. Let me show you around. First thing you see when you walk into my awesome craft room is my paper collection. You might say I'm obsessed. So all along here, I have my paper packs of different themes. I did keep my old paper storage from my last room. This does have a little bit of sentimental value to me. These racks came from archivers before they went out of business. So I did want to keep them around. I just couldn't say goodbye to them, but they still have a purpose. Next, we go into all of my solid color cardstock. We start with my 12 by 12, and then we go down to my 8.5 by 11. I have a paper tray in every single slot of these BCO cabinets, just because I have so many different shades of color, and I wanted to be able to see all of them. I didn't want to stack a bunch of different colors into one and then still have to go through them all. So 12 by 12, I have a little bit of pattern paper, and then into my 8.5 by 11. All of my paper is on display now. I have no more secret stashes. I can see all of it. It is at my fingertips, ready to use whenever I'm ready for it. On this side, we found a solution for my yarn skeins. We got these X's that fit into these BCO cabinets perfectly, so I can put an entire skein of yarn in there and then still have some room for the little ones. And I still had room for drawers on top, so I'm thinking I'll put in some extra crochet hooks, maybe some buttons and clasps depending on the project. This is such a nice improvement over my last yarn storage solution because it was like a wire rack that had these big square holes in them. If I put something in there, a lot of times it would just fall all the way through. This way, it is all off of the floor. It is not going to get stuck in Jarvis's little clutches again. Everything's done, yay! I'm so excited. The final organizing went so nice and smooth. Once I finally had a place for everything, it was so easy to just grab a box, purge what I needed to purge, and then put away what I could put away. It was so great. Walking into my craft room now is a breath of fresh air. I feel like I am entering into a boutique or, you know, a little craft store. It's just so beautifully organized. It looks so professional. I definitely noticed a shift in the way I craft now. Before it was, again, anxiety driven. It was a lot of second guessing. Now I'm so much more efficient because I'm not looking all over the place for stuff. I don't have to look 3 different places for the right paper. I know where my paper is. So I'm able to make those creative decisions faster and able to complete projects quicker. It's amazing. Moving down into the corner here towards the back wall. First thing we have is my little sentiment corner, I'm calling it. This is a brand new toy of mine. It is a record player that I won at work recently. Super excited to start my record collection. Down here in this corner cabinet, this has carousels on it, so I can twirl this around. This has my really old photo albums from when I was like really little. Eventually I'll pull out some of these photos and make a scrapbook. And down here at the very bottom, got another carousel. I could spin this around. These boxes have a whole lot of mementos in there from like elementary years, high school years, stuff I really don't need to keep, but I just can't let go of yet. Now this here, we have a bar height BCO cabinet, and here I've actually stored a little bit more of my yarn stuff. We got little puff balls for beanie hats. I love to make those for my friends and family. I got some granny squares of a whole bunch of fun different colors. I like to use up my scrap yarn on these. Some more puff balls for hats. And then I got all of my leftover yarn from other projects that I have not found a use for yet. And down here at the bottom, I have got a whole bunch of these brand new project pockets. These guys are great. They took all of those giant 12 by 12 bins that I had and reduced it down to just this little section of space here. So this is when I went to New Orleans with my husband in 2023. I've got my photos in there. I have got some exploring brochures in there. I've got some paper I'm planning to use. So really excited to just have this little bitty space for all of those projects. Moving right along, I got another single BCO cabinet over here, bar height. I got my tea stashed right here, and I used the brand new flexi drawers to organize my tea bags here. So excited to fill that up. I got my K-cups, essential for my Keurig, of course. And then I have my spare paper, my scrap paper, like literal scraps of paper. What I did is I used our awesome little sleeves here and put whatever color I wanted to coordinate with it on the tab and tucked in all of my extra leftover paper from projects in there. So I got my 8.5 by 11 here, my 12 by 12 here, and I have a couple even smaller spare bits in this one right here. This is all the rest of my paper. It is my pattern paper that I have in a giant triple BCO cabinet. Again, I single spaced each of these because I've got a lot of pattern paper I need to use up, and I want to be able to see all of it. So that's the rest of my pattern paper, and of course, you gotta have a little bit of personality in your room, am I right? I think the moment that finally made it real was probably when I was starting to bring in my materials again, when I started filling the racks with paper, putting the markers together on my cabinet, and then getting the fine details in of my pink fluffy crisscross applesauce office chair with a cute little rug, the art pieces that my husband had made for me, some floral arrangements, hanging the mugs. Like there's so much of me in this room, and I just feel at home. So moving around the room, we still have my cork board that has all of my lovely Hard Rock Cafe pins. And down here, it's got my little Australia Zoo pins. Now moving down here into this single BCO cabinet, we're still at bar height here. I kept everything at bar height for the most part, so all my surfaces were pretty much the same. So in this first cabinet of drawers, we start, of course, with the knickknacks. This is my miscellaneous stuff for if I just need a little something, little bradlets in here. I've got some buttons. I've got my little googly eyes here. As you can see, I definitely had a field day with my label maker. We had a party. Down here, I got my rub-ons. Got those in there. I've got mostly embellishments going on in these drawers, so I sorted them out by theme. Got my holiday theme going on in here, so when I scrapbook like our last Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas or Valentine's Day. Got a tropical theme going on here. My husband and I love to visit places that involve the ocean. I've got events, occupations. I got some of my vintage stuff here. Definitely planning on doing something army themed for my grandpa there. I've got my flora. Look at all these cute flowers. Okay, check out these cherry blossoms. How cute is that? Fun, right? Okay, travel, obviously. If you've kind of been catching on a theme here of what I like to do, gotta have a travel bin here. I've got glitter, I've got washi tape. I'll probably use some more of those flexi drawers in here to sort out that washi tape, make sure they're not rolling around like that all the time. And then I got ribbon, and more ribbon, and more ribbon. So much ribbon. So I got these kind of sorted by size here. Got my smaller ones, got my medium ones here, and then the really large ones that I can't fit going upwards, I've just laid them flat and put them in there. Then down here, I've got an assortment of paints, and then I've got room to grow. So this is my main workstation. I got a couple of work mats here for when I'm doing my crafting, and I love this guy. This is my little handy dandy tool tray. So this way I can keep all of the stuff that I use on a day-to-day basis right there at my fingertips. It has a space. I'm not looking for it among the sea of supplies when I have my scrapbook stuff out. So the cabinet to the right of my main workspace, I have my most essential tool, my little paper cutter here, my Fisker's cutter. Keep that right there and handy. I just used an adjustable shelf and went one space down to set that in there. Then we go on to pencils, rulers, little bits of ink for when I'm just want to do a little vintage soft edge around my cards or my scrapbooks. I've got a handy dandy little accessory tray organizer in there. I've got markers, again, organized with a little accessory tray. Some more cutting tools, so replacements for my Fisker's cutter, blades. I've got my little distresser here, a couple more scissors and punches. I've got a couple of notebooks in here for when I'm taking notes on what exactly do I want to say when I'm journaling, but I don't want to commit to putting it on my nice paper yet. I kept my whale tail punches in a double drawer here. I did that because I really like being able to see what the shape is really nice and easily. So this way I can open the drawer, see all my different shape options, and be able to pick one out versus putting it up somewhere and only seeing that. So this way I have a little bit better of a visual. Next, I've got lettering for my different titles and subtitles of my scrapbooks. Going right along, I got more lettering in sticker form down here. Then we have a circle paper cutter, my envelope maker and banner punch board, more stickers, so many fun things. I've got more miscellaneous embellishments in here, so not sure what I want to work on, not sure exactly what exactly I'm looking for. That pièce de résistance, I might take a gander through here. And on the left side of my workspace, my last cabinet here, I have got a bunch of inks. So I've got my cute little ink squares here. I've got some more miscellaneous inks that I've collected and need to use up. And then I got my Misty. I've got a little stamp cleaner here. Got my embossing ink and my powder tray. Versamark Watermark, the only one I use for when I'm doing heat embossing. Of course, gotta have my embossing powders in here. Starting to organize these by color in the different rows here. And my little embossing powder tool. I've got my heat tools in here, so there's my heat embossing gun, as well as a couple of hot glue guns and the glue sticks I've got going on. Got some blending tools in here. My rubber stamps. And more miscellaneous stuff with room to grow. Still figuring out where I want some stuff. Down here, I actually left open in the cabinet so that I could keep my inspiration close by. So these are different scrapbooking magazines and books to give me layout inspiration. Not all of my drawers are filled, so that gives me room to grow. I am definitely not done collecting. I'm going to go out and explore more craft sales and everything. And if I find another medium I want to try out, I got room to put it away now, and I don't have to worry about it. I'm really excited for that. And of course, the largest item in the room is my custom BCO tabletop to go on top of these cabinets. This is a custom BCO top, and they can do custom items locally, but all I did was take 6 of the single bar height cabinets and use those as the legs for my tabletop. So anybody could get these cabinets and use those as legs to put whatever tabletop they wanted on top of it. This corner, I have got my Cricut station. So stay tuned for this. This is a prototype, but how awesome is this? This drawer pulls out and I can open it on up, load my paper, do all my settings, and let this thing go. When I'm all done, I fold it back together and slide it right in there. So stay tuned for this. Hopefully it's coming to the store soon. I have a whole bunch of shelving in here, and I'm still playing around with how I want to organize it, but I've got some acrylic crepes for my cling stamps. I have some for my die cuts, And I've got my die cut machines, more die cutting options, a couple more acrylic crates here for little misties and dabbers. I've got my really big adhesives in here. And I got some more drawers I can play with. So I've got a few Cricut tools. I've got stuff for stamping in here. I've got space for my really teeny tiny little embellishments that sometimes I honestly don't know where they came from. Got space for larger ones that I cut out here, and I like to make extra so then I can use them later and not have to take everything out again. And I got some of my larger stencils in this one here. And here I got a mega stamp case. This works great for all of my little Cricut cartridge boxes here. They fit perfectly, so they're all there nice and together. And of course, there is nothing here anymore. This is where my giant pegboard used to be. And with all of these different organizing things I have now, I really didn't have a use for it anymore. So this is going to turn into an art display or maybe a whiteboard display, but I did not forget about my art. So over here we did hang up some art. This is my favorite platypus painting ever. Can't go wrong with a platypus. So back in the craft room, we've got the stamp case tower. This is the large stamp case tower, and what I love about this is that it's customizable. All of these come in and out, so you can mix and match what sort of inserts you want in here. So I've got one for my lockdown punches, I've got a few for markers, paper, ink, more markers, more paper, and I got some blending brushes and stuff down here. And you still have a little bit of extra space. So I got some vintage CD-ROMs in here. I even got room for my little emotional support shark. So any other crafters that are considering something like this, it is so worth it. It is going to save you so much time, so much stress. It's really going to make your creativity flow a lot better. It'll make your workflow go so much smoother. I really encourage you to invest in yourself, fill up your cup so that you can overflow and share with others. But wait, there's more. All right, so I still have the shelving here from last time, but as you can see here, I have a lot of space to grow since I have used space in other areas and made space here. I've got my scrapbooks, my photos, I've got my cards. So much space saved. I got no idea what I'm gonna do with all this spare space. I'll figure something out, I'm sure. This is probably one of my favorite bits of art here. My dear friend Sam made this for me. When I told her I was redoing my scrapbooking room and I found out that she does macrame, I asked her to make one of these. So I am so happy with it. All I had to do was bring her the materials and she went to work and came up with this gorgeous pattern. I love it. Last but not least, we have got my desk space. Starting over here, I have my little candle wick projects. So I like to start new sorts of mediums all the time. So I've kind of been playing around with candles, candle making, seals, stuff like that. So I have little wax pellets for if I'm going to stamp an envelope with wax seals. I've got some tea lights down here for doing that. Here's the wax seals themselves. I found a couple of fun little ones. This one's a compass that matches my tattoo. Love it. And down here I'm going to fill this one up with paper for the 3-ring binders that I can keep down here. Moving on to the desktop, my husband put together this computer with the help of one of our friends. So now I have my own handmade computer and my fun clickety-clackety typewriter keyboard. I just love that. I got my custom mouse pad and a little caddy carousel here for my highlighters, some markers. Got one more single cabinet here. This one's mostly got your regular office supplies. So I've got lead, paper clips, I've got your Post-its in here, I've got SD cards. This one's got my pencils and erasers and some gel highlighters, and I got these awesome acrylic cups in here so they don't slide around all over the drawer. Continuing down, I have got what I call my green book. If I need to remember something, I usually have to put it in here. My handy dandy label maker, gotta have that. I got some replacement tape for it. And bottom drawer, whole bunch of paper notebooks that were taking up space before, and now I just have them in one drawer. So that's everything. My nice, new, entire organized craft space. It is so hard to come up with a favorite part of my room. I have battled this question in my head already. I have gone from my Cricut station, which makes my Cricut so nice and easily accessible. I've already been using it more. That's definitely a great highlight. And then I go to my stamp case tower, which is so beautiful and colorful and utilizes vertical space so beautifully that otherwise would have gone wasted. That's an amazing element. I have my giant table here. That's incredible. I have so much room here for friends. And then there's my desk, which I can now fit 2 monitors on, and I got VCO cabinets on either side full of stuff. Why are you asking me to pick a favorite child? It's impossible. It all just works so beautifully and cohesively. I can't pick a favorite. Don't ask.
So I take it you're liking the room so far?
Yeah, can you tell I like my room? Check it out.
Oh my gosh, the table is like, so you don't have to sit like.
No, I can stand.
It's like you have the same amount of space on the outside as before, but you can function. Like
Yes.
you can do things.
And now look at my office.
Wait, you have an office that
I have
goes
an
with
office.
this?
Yeah,
What was in here?
check
This
this
was just
out.
a closet before.
This was just a closet.
That's so cool.
Yeah, check it out. So I got all my lock punches up here. I've got my alcohol. I started this journey with the intention of making it a space that I'll be able to utilize with the other women in my community and have them over a lot. I did not realize how much of a gift it was to myself. Because while I fully intend to have the girls over, have some fun, chit chats, you know, have a little potluck and do some creating, I'm already using this space just for myself and using it as a way to relax, a way to create, a way to spark some more joy and creativity into my own personal life. If I could go back 6 months ago and talk to the Danielle that was trying to craft in the feral raccoon den, I would tell her you are going to be amazed at the finished product because you're about to go from feral to fabulous and it's going to be worth it. Let's go.